they cope with their lifestyles as military. Because when you're in military, you're an object that belongs to the United States, Department of Defense. That's all we are. You cannot go do some sports because you're gonna get hurt, and you cannot get hurt because you have to be always ready. If in case my boss says you gotta go to work, you have 120 days. Oh, no, you have 100. No, it's 100 days. Sometimes 90 days, 60 days, 30 days notice. You gotta report in 30 days. You gotta report in 5 days with all your equipment ready, and you're gonna go somewhere. Wherever they send you, they don't tell you where to send you. Sometimes you're like, we cannot tell you. We cannot tell you. You're just gonna get it, plane, and go. And on my first deployment, my first one and last one, obviously, it was back in 2013, November. I remember good because it was my son's birthday on the 3rd, and I had to leave on the 2nd. So this was my first son's birthday missed, obviously, and it was a very sad one because I didn't know what to expect. I just knew we were going to war, and I took my kids before that, maybe a week or 2 weeks before that. I took them to see a show where antique show or something. I don't know what it was, but it was people like I could see those viejitos. I mean, like those old guys, like at 19, they born in 1920s. They hardly can move. I mean, they really, and they have like a fair, or I don't know what the heck it was that. All these festival, I don't know. Very interesting to me. They had their music and they were dancing, and people that old people. I mean, I'm old, but those were really old. I mean, I'm talking 80s, 90s people. That for sure they were in those wars that you guys studying, and see them dancing and smiling, and man, some people that were doing rapping. I'm like, what the heck is that? You know, to see that, and I told my kids. I started looking at my kids, and I started looking at that, and I say, hey, I might not come back. I didn't say that, obviously, but I was feeling like, I might not even come back from this war, you know. It's a very sad feeling when you're like, this is the last day I'm going to see you, and this might be it. So it's something like, you know, they really, I'm on the medication, that's why I can talk like this, otherwise I would be crying like crazy, hysterical crazy. I feel like it was a normal, the normal stage of mine. But it was very sad. And one of the things I told my kids, I recorded that dance, and I told my kids, this is why I'm going to the war, you know, to see freedom in America. Remember these guys, I was telling my kids, remember them. It's so nice to see what America, how you can still have these people free on the streets and have their freedom to have a festival like this and dance and survive, you know. And this is the real root of America. And even though we come from different backgrounds and different countries, our parents are from different, we complain about some things about the countries. You know, we don't have the same milk, or we don't have the same vegetables from other countries, or maybe we have different weather, different things. Some people, they might have lost their houses back home. They came here, they don't even have a house or an apartment, and you have to live in a complex where the freaking dog barks 2 million times and your neighbor doesn't care. And, you know, the cucarachas from the neighbor comes to you and you have nothing you can do about them. So, you know, we have to come to this. And it's a different stories, right? However, this is what is America, freedom. And when we go to the war, as a soldier, I think it's very important to understand that. I'm going to go for something else just besides me. My family has to stay behind. My son, he was what, 12 years old? 10, 12 years old. He has to stay home with his sister. She's like 20, she was 22, so. And she's the one who has to watch him. I was like freaking out. I used to live in Lancaster. You guys know where Lancaster is? Lancaster is almost 75 miles where I work. And I have to drive every day to work. I didn't care because that's where my son's father is. And I want them to get together after so many years they didn't get together. Oh, because I didn't tell you that part, right? Where I was working at. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Sorry, going over
Oh, that's fine.
up and down where the break comes. So I was driving that 75 miles one way, obviously, and always try to be on time. That's one of our things. It's like in the military, you have to be on time, otherwise I get in trouble. And you know, our culture doesn't teach us that. It's like in Spanish culture, yeah, you tell me 12, I'm going to be here at 2. You know, and that's something that we know. Mom, I got to be there. It's okay. 5 minutes later, who cares? So for us, the military, you have to be on time, otherwise you get in trouble. And it's a totally culture learning for us, right? For me, for my people. And when I had to do the driving, what I was saying about the driving for?
You were driving to the base, like you're trying to be early.
And what else?
Like
And then-
70, you drive like 72.
And then you left your son with the dad.
I left my son. Before my deployment, I had to go for combat training. Combat training, my goodness. But before that, I had it too. My mother lived with me back in the days. And she needs, like, you know, she's diabetic, like all the grandmas. Diabetic, hard blood. They don't listen, they crouchy, they scream and yell, and they cook delicious food, and that's what grandma is, right? I'm sure grandmas do that. And she was not able to take care of my son. I was not going to put her in that strength, not problem, but in charge of that. That was going to be very difficult for her. So I had to send her to Texas. I had 2 months to do this. Send my mom to Texas. Send my daughter from school to Washington. She was in Washington, D.C., going to college. I make her to come here as soon as she was finished in May time frame. She came to L.A. I had to get an apartment closer to where I work in Loyola. So we had to move from Lancaster. I had to take my mom. I had to put all my junk in the storage. I had to come here to closer to my work. That way my daughter don't do the driving, because that driving is only crazy like me can do 75 miles one way. And then I didn't want her to do that. So I bring her close to. It was more expensive. I had to get storage. And the reason that I'm telling you this is because when they tell us to be ready in 30 days, and you see all the things I had to do just for unemployment. Get ready. You gotta go. And I had to move my mom. How difficult is that? Just get all this packing thing, go. Then my daughter come, get an apartment, get the storage, make my son go into school, make sure that he's in school, make sure my daughter is taken care, make sure all the, the bills, electricity, all that thing goes the way it's supposed to go, because you are not allowed to be late on your payments in the military. We are not. It's something that it grows in you that you must. By the first of the month, everything has to be paid. You don't owe money. You don't do bad checks. You don't do any bad credit stuff. And that's something that they teach us that we must do. And that's where, for the future, when one day you guys get the senior time, something you gotta know is like you need to trust the military, especially when we retire or we separate and honorable, because this is something that is being injected on you. It's like you must do. It's not playing around. You're not going to pay your bills. When I'm late, I'm paying my bills, I get so angry and anxious because it's bothering me. And when I see my sister, when I tell her it's time to pay the rent, oh yeah, maybe next week. I'm like, how do you do that? She says, well, next week when I have time. So it's something that, for us, it make you have a structure where you don't own yourself 100%. So when I was telling you about the short deployments was to be ready. That's something that it teaches. And you guys asked that question somewhere here. What are your first thoughts of enlisting? I already told you that one. How did your friends react? I usually, I cannot say that I have friends. I have people that I know. And it's even something I've been telling my daughter for when she was little. I don't know why I had that long, but it's like, you know what? I see how these, when they're young kids, they get so close to a friend, maybe one person, and somehow, for some reason, that person is gone. That kid is gone, that girl or boy is gone, and that affects the kid a lot. So I told my daughter, I don't want you to get close to anybody. I want you to go park, have fun, enjoy it, be independent. Since she was 4 years old, 5 years old, she was very independent. But, sometimes kids, they just sit and they don't play with anybody. I told my daughter, no, that's not going to be you. You're going to go out and play. And I'm watching you here. But, somehow that was me, not in the military. Because my son now, in the military, when I was in the military, hell no, I don't let him do anything. It's like he's in jail somehow. Because I don't want him to, I came to understand after my deployment, and during my treatment, I came to understand because of that separation I had to do, I came too much attached to him too as well. Because I felt like I lost him, I lost my kid. I lost the right to see my kid for 6 months. When you're deployed, you can't. I couldn't even call for time on the phone because they couldn't tell where I was. They didn't even have a clue where I was. To my mom, I should never told her. I never told her I was deployed. I told her I was in Wyoming or in somewhere. She's, yeah, right. What time is it there? And I was lucky. I had a clock in the military in my location. We had 3 hours. We had 4 hours. Zulu time, the regular time in my location, the East time, West time. So we have all the time. So she asked me, I'm like, yeah, we have this time. Oh, okay. So she's not making it up. And so when she asked me how the weather, then I had to go to the internet and look at the weather because I didn't know how the weather was in the States. But I didn't want her to get worried. I needed my kids. But I lived for all that 6 months like, I not might see my kids back, and that's very, very, very a strong bondage where you're like, now when I'm back, you're not going anywhere, you're mine. And basically that's what he is. He's like, I'm constantly watching him and watching him and watching him like a shadow of him. And that's what parents we do, when we love our kids. You're like, what are you doing? Oh, Mom, leave me alone. I'm like, I want to know, what is it? Is it love for us? Sometimes in life, you get in situations, not only me personally, but during my treatment, I saw a lot of people that they were in the same boat as me. They needed to be in the military. They were having the same symptoms because they were raped. They were addicts, they were alcohol addicts, they were drug addicts, they were all kinds of addictions. And I came to understand that everybody has an addiction. No matter to what age or what kind of addiction, but you have an addiction. Maybe sleeping, maybe watching TV, maybe eating your nails, maybe brushing your hair. I don't know. One of those, it could be an addiction. An addiction is an addiction. So when we come from different backgrounds, family, where they have episodes in their lives, traumatic episodes, not only the PTSD, the comeback, it's a different experiences, but at the end, we are all the same. We have problems, when people, they have those kind of, they were raped or they have that's what my interpretation of the treatment I went to. Because I was sitting next to girls where they've been raped and they were trying to understand what happened to them, and they went through medical treatments. And they having the same symptoms. They had the same problems. They couldn't identify themselves.